Hey, it's Kamala here from Creative Moms Decant. So today I'm going to show you how to make DIY soaps. These are perfect for everyone on your Christmas list. Let's go.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me.
The supplies you need for this are actually really basic. So you need your soap base. There's all kinds of options on this. I buy just an affordable brand, and you can buy it in white, which is what I have here, or clear, where this will be clear, so you'll be able to see through it. Either one works just as well. And then you're going to need some type of bowl to melt some soap down in. Just a ceramic cereal bowl, measuring cup, that will be just fine. And then you're going to have whatever you want to put it in. Those three things are going to be what's necessary. So you can actually use wax paper and like a Velveeta cheese box and use that and then slice your soaps. Or you could use some molds you have on hand. These are silicone molds that I use for UV resin, and either of those would work. And I grabbed these two shapes out because I thought they would be fun for soap, and I also thought that they would be fun as a gift in the little shapes. And then this I picked up just from Amazon, and it's plastic, so it was cheap. But it will mold some soaps, and we're going to find out if it works because I'm going to use it today. I know these kind of things and the wax paper work, but I thought some fun designs on the soap. This looked really cool. I love this bee and the flower. Those were my favorites, so I thought I'd try that. And then depends on where you want to go with it. So we're going to make two different ones today, and hopefully both will inspire you to make whichever kinds you want. So the first one I'm going to make it a vanilla lavender scent. So I'm going to add some soap fragrance oil, essential oils, basically. And so I'm going to do the vanilla and the lavender. And so I'm going to add, and yes, you can add mica powder. So I'm going to add mica powder, and then I have some herbs that have some flowers. So I'm just going to do a pinch of that in there too. And that's going to be my one soap. And then because it's fall right now, I am in a fall mood. So I grabbed out my orange mica powder, and I grabbed cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg. So you see where I'm going, like pumpkin pie scent soap. So I'm really excited about that. But pinches of these will be so fun in the soap base. So the first thing you do is cut this into bricks and melt it. And because I don't have a microwave in my craft room, I'm going to take this to the other room, get it melted, and meet you right back here to show you how I stir in everything and get it in the molds. All right, so it is melted now, and you do need to work fairly quickly. It has a 30-minute setup time, so really not much, and it's going to start cooling pretty quick. So let's do this one first. I have an eyedropper. And lavender tends to be a strong scent, and even though I am definitely 100% a lavender person, not everyone is. So we will use a little less of the lavender. So I'm going to start with about a half of a dropper here. This dropper came with the scents, and I will tell you that you really want to make sure you leave that in there. Don't transfer these back and forth, So squeeze out all of this into here or back into this bottle before you dip in your other one, or your vanilla is always, really and truly, you should rinse, because your vanilla is always going to have a scent of lavender if you don't. So all that dripped out, and I am going to do 2 full droppers of the vanilla. Vanilla is maybe even a little more. Vanilla is a mild flavor, so sometimes you need to use more of it. All right, and then I'm going to stir that in here. And then I like to just bring this spoon up to my nose for scent. Sometimes I might have to go 15 more seconds or so in the microwave if it seems thick, but I don't like to heat anything I put in them. Other than with the warm soap. All right, so do a sniff test. And actually, that vanilla is really strong with this brand. So I am going to empty that dropper and go back into my lavender. I want a little more lavender. That was very vanilla. And now I'm going to smell. I love it. Ooh, that is soothing. That's exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to add a little bit of the purple mica powder. And it doesn't take, I mean, it doesn't take much. It's up to you, but I think a homemade soap doesn't need a bunch of fake colorants. It probably doesn't need any, but I'm kind of a crazy color girl, so I'm going to add some. Now, and there is no, I said it probably doesn't need any. It doesn't have to have any. It does not have to have anything. It could have all herbal ingredients if you wanted. So, all right, I'm going to do a couple pinches of this. Isn't that going to be pretty? So this was a tea mix that I picked up in Alabama that I still haven't drank. And I thought a couple tablespoons of that in this soap, give it even more a little homemade, and a little bit of that's not going to hurt a thing. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So that is a pretty, very homemade looking DIY purple soap. So let's go ahead and dump it into a mold here. So I'm going to go for the flower mold on this one. And the extra, I'm sure you want to fill these to the top. And the extra I am going to put in the star. Actually, let's do the shell for the extra of this scent. I think the shell goes better with the lavender. Dump that in. And I have just a little extra, so I may have to find another mold for my other scent, or we'll do both of these molds with this one while I'm pouring here. And you do want to fill, so the soap like wax will kind of heap over, or bubble up, and I like them like full. You could also do them level, but I like the heaped. I don't know why. I think this side is pretty. The other thing that you could do in one of these soaps, like the top of this one, I am really loving. But the top of these two, let me put this a little more in your sight. Sorry about that. But these other two, the tops aren't as like stunning as I thought they would be. So I can add these dry flowers. I'm going to grab this pink one here. And you can put those in or just lay them on the top. So it doesn't, either way. But this was perfect to just add. Let's do a leaf on this one. I don't know. The star probably doesn't need any flowers. Let's leave it. But there, I got that in there. And this is already setting up very well. You can use a little bit of a heat source to kind of pop these bubbles if you want, kind of warm it back up with like a hair dryer on very low and held away or things like that. The silicone mold did really well with that. Okay, so before this one sets up completely, let's stir in for my pumpkin spice Christmas DIY soap. I love the little hint of the colors in them. So again, you really could leave this plain, and that is perfectly fine. I do. I'm a colorful person, and I like the color. And then we're going to sprinkle in, like I'm seasoning from my ancestors, my nutmeg. I have clove, and cinnamon. This one is probably going to be my favorite, although that one is so pretty and very ladylike. I don't know that I'm always ladylike, but for you girly girls, I think this one's so pretty. I like it. All right, so I'm just going to stir these in just like we did all of it. And I may have to add a little more orange and melt this a little bit. This one got set up with all my talking. So I am going to take this one to the microwave, and I'm going to nuke it just about the 15 seconds, probably only once, just enough to melt this one more time.
With an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings, but now I shine with your reflection.
All right, so that has been melted again, and at 15 seconds. It takes no time. And I'm not a fan of the brown color on this one, probably too many spices, but I really liked the spices, so I've decided I'm going to embrace them, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense to anyone else? So I am going to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon and cloves and nutmeg again in the bottom of this mold. And that will become the top of my soap. So I am, of course, going to get crazy here and probably have to reheat my or remelt my soap. But I am going to kind of do this in a design with this bee, and we'll see if that turns out. All right, so I'm at least semi-confident that that's going to look cool. You could also just sprinkle some on the top, like we kind of did the flower with the seashell one. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this into there. And then I have enough left of this one. I'm going to do this mold. And that's close. So a half a block will do about 2 of these. That would be just about perfect. So now it's just 30 minutes, and I'm very confident it's not going to take much longer than that because they are really already setting up. So I'll see you in 30 minutes. All right, so it's been just under 30 minutes. I just placed this right next to my, not on, but just right next to my AC vent, and that helped. So that's why under 30 minutes, but you wouldn't have had to. These I did not even have to place underneath my vent because the silicone molds are so awesome. And look at that. Isn't that neat? I love it. So the flour you may have needed to dunk, or you can pour a little clear coat if you had the clear on top too. But this side, I love it. Love it. And then our star, which is going to pull out easy too. And how cute is that? Even for a kid, you know, just as a like bath toy, you know, but soap. That's so fun. All right, let's see if these come out. Oh my gosh, it's going to come out super easy. I had not even tried. I just knew they were hard. Well, that came out of there a lot easier than I anticipated. And wow, can you see all the spice colors in that? It's actually really pretty, prettier than I thought. All right, let's take this one out. We're going to hold the suspense on the bee. Gosh, they came out so easy. Oh, I love this one. That is pretty. That is so pretty. All right, and last but not least, let's see how my spices did. Actually, that one is really cool, and I love the texture that the spices add. I will say, okay, so that area is not quite set up yet, so I just smashed it, so I may have needed to let it sit, or maybe because the spices changed to this soap too much. You do want to be careful adding your colorants for that reason, but look at that bee. As soon as this completely dries, that is adorable. I like this one too. So fun soaps. Super simple DIY Christmas gift, homemade soap. Perfect gift for anyone. Thank you so much for watching. Likes and subscribes really help me. Have a joyful day. Bye.
With an illusion, like a sparrow with